Hello and welcome to the Thursday Night GT Championship by Race Department on Project Cars 2 for PS4, powered by Next Level Racing. Tonight we are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the road course, and this is the final race of the season. It's the 2-hour endurance, and well, like the last couple of races, I am joined by Seeks with his onboard commentary. Welcome, Seeks.
Hi Frank, nice to be here for the final race, and good to see we've got a nice big grid, 13 drivers this time. Obviously the Drivers' Championship's been wrapped up, but the Teams' Championship is looking very close at the top. Spam-Fritters could potentially lose their crown for the first time in their history.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
To Snakes Unite, so it'll be an interesting one at the front.
Yeah, exactly, and well, I'll have to take a look at the points, because there is a difference of 17 points between Spam Fritters and Snakes Unite Racing. So that is very, very close, and these two teams have been very close all season long. They are the usual in the top 5 somewhere in most races. So yeah, it's going to be exciting for the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, and we've got a few new faces as well as some new cars. Some drivers have opted not to qualify and try their car for the next season for this race.
Yes.
And we did have a patch, didn't we, that sort of put some things out of kilter a little bit.
Yeah, well, it is a different race than usual. As we can see here, the guys in Snake Unite Racing are driving a different livery. This is the a 24-hour or this is an endurance livery, and they will be driving this livery next season. What else is new tonight? We have Ben Milden and Gunnar Gamble, who are both in the pits due to a qualifying ban. They made a switch to their new car. They will be driving the Mercedes AMG next season, and they were allowed to change for this last race because the Lamborghini is really struggling on tires at this track, as well as the Ferrari. We have Six in the Ferrari. Well, tell us about the tires.
Yeah, the time and date is, well, the time's 1 o'clock in game, and the date in game is, I think, 1st of March or something, quite early March. So the track's quite cold and quite slippery, and obviously where you got the long sweeping right hand at the end of the lap, and generally quite a lot of right hand corners, it takes the tyres out quite quickly, and I find that it's only lasting about 5 laps before you start to get a bit squirrely and just have to look after it a bit, maybe upshift a bit, or short shift even, and just take some different lines maybe through some of the corners. But it'd be interesting to see how everyone handles it and manages it, and I expect a few mistakes, especially in the first stint, just where drivers get caught out by it. So it could be something to keep your eye on.
Yeah, well, fortunately this track has quite a lot of runoff, so hopefully not too much damage to the cars. Yeah, like you said, the tires start to fall off after a couple of laps, and in the Lamborghini it's even worse, so everyone who was in the Lamborghini was allowed to make one change. We see that Paul Scott, he stayed in the Lamborghini, and well, we'll have to see how he will manage his tires. Hopefully he will not have to pit every 10 laps or so, because this will probably be a somewhere between 80 and 90 lap race. It's of course a pretty short track, so and that for 2 hours long will lead up to quite some laps to go. We also have a couple of guest drivers. Here we have one of them. This is WRT Campo 50, and he was invited by one of our drivers, Edu. He has now changed his name to WRT Edu STM, but he's been driving with us for, I think, the bigger part of this season. And we also have WRT Max. WRT Max and Campo 50 are both in the black and red Audis. Edo is in the Bentley, and I believe that he announced that he will be driving this car next season.
Yeah, him and Fraser have picked the Bentley for this season, so for next season even. So it'd be interesting to see how they get on.
Yeah, and this is the 2016 model, I think.
I'm not really sure, to be honest, Frank. It's quite a beast, that's for sure.
It has a lot of power. I drove the Bentley in season 5, I think, for a couple of races, and it's a very good car. Back then, it had quite some issues with downshifting too quickly. So I hope they fixed it for the new car. Let's get to some times here. Currently, Gazer123 is on pole with a 123.3, and he just improved that. Yes, our quintuple champion. Five-time champion.
Yeah.
And 5 consecutive seasons.
Go out on a high.
Yeah. And wow, 5 times in a row. That's quite impressive. So yeah, and now he is. He just improves his time, but here we are with Adam, who is now off track, who did a 23.0. That is a fast time. Boy Raxer Benji is currently in 3rd place with a 23.5, and here we have Liam in another livery than we're used to. He's now in the 27 BMW, and he is doing a 23.6. Paul Scott a 24.6, so that's a second slower than Liam, who is in 4th place. After that, it's pretty close. Papano 92, a 24.7, a WRT Campo 50 did a 24.8, WRT Edu at 25.2, WRT Max a 25.3, and here we have Rob Noxious, who will be joining us next season again. He did his first race as a sort of comeback last week, and he is back now for the 2-hour endurance, and he will be back full-time next season.
Yeah, it should be good to see Rob back again. Old timer and very experienced. Has raced with quite a lot of us for quite a while, so some of us know him well. others not so much, but lovely guy, good laugh, and good re-addition to the league.
Yes, it's really good to have him back. He is a real veteran in the sim racing world. Like I said, been here with the TNGTC, done some other leagues, showed some great pace, and he just got this game last week, I think. So I reckon that he needs some... Sorry?
I was going to say he raced with us in Project Cars 1, so yeah, he's pretty new to him.
Yeah, so it's probably getting a bit used to the game. And there was quite a big difference between Project Cars 1 and this one. So yeah, it'd probably take him a couple of races to get used to the new format. And here we have Adam, Benji, and Seeks all coming onto the track. So we will see another couple of fast laps in a few moments.
Yeah, one thing to add to the race strategy is that it is an incredibly long pit lane. It feels like absolute ages just to get to the end. So it might be something that some drivers take into consideration and decide to maybe draw a stint out a bit longer than they need to, just so they can pit one less time later on in the race.
Yeah, yeah, it's because
so
it
might be interesting to see how people play that.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting because it is, like you said, very long, and of course that straight is so long, so the difference in speed is huge. So you will lose a lot of time there, and it's like I said before, a very short track. It is a 2.4 mile long track, so yeah, it's pretty short with a very long pit straight, so you can win or lose a lot by taking that stint for a bit longer. And let's see if we can find someone who is almost at the start finish line. Now we will just join. I'll just join Rob, who is now on his way to the finish line, and let's get on board with him for a lap around Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the infield road course. So here we are, start finish. Will he do another lap? Yeah, and so we have the first combination of turns here, turn 1 and 2, very tight corners. And then there's 3, which turns into a sharper 4. And 5 and 6, fast chicane. This is the back straight. And on the other side you can almost see the pit lane. Sharp left, turn 7, 8 and 9, and then another sharp right, turn 10. Here we are through the long turn 11, and here are some tricky turns. Turn 12, and this one especially, turn 13. And just didn't make it into the last corner. Let's see who else is out there. Here we are with our champion, just crossing start-finish line.
I just noticed no Jamie tonight.
No. No, that's
Have you given up? To be fair, I've not seen anything from him all week, so maybe he's just busy this week, or
I don't know. I saw a rant a couple of weeks ago that he was out.
Oh yeah, but he's raced since then.
Ah, okay.
But he's got his 5th place in the championship to fight for. That's the interesting thing. The best of the rest, as it were.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Which is also in a battle with Ben and Dean. And well, are we doing double points? Because if we are, then potentially me. But I think I'm pretty much written out of that.
I still don't know actually. I haven't found any points regulations on the forums.
Ben, you're normally listening. Let us know.
Yeah, he probably knows. So, Ben, if you're watching, do we have double points tonight, or is it another system for this feature race?
It's a very big difference between the top 4 and the rest of the field.
Yes, sure is.
That's sort of what we come to expect, but not by a second.
But this is a very big difference, and usually there is a couple of tenths, but a full second is quite a lot, and that's between the number 4 and 5. I mean, the gap to Adam currently is over 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting to go quicker. I know I've gone quicker during the week, so hopefully I can close that gap a little bit. But qualifying is not the be-all and end-all in an endurance race like this.
Well, we have a comment by Paul Scott on our live stream on the chat on YouTube. He says, "Seeks get back in the pits. That's my 5th place."
Well, it's not anymore because I think it's Edu who's just gone ahead of him. So.
Yep. So it's now Seeks in 7th. It's Paul in 6th, and it is WRT Max who claimed 5th, and he is about 9/10 slower than Liam. And there's a gap of 1.4 seconds to the pole sitter RDF1 Adam Morris.
And I've just pulled down another spot. But getting into crunch time now, 30 seconds left.
Yes,
anyone going to improve?
Almost officially over.
So Benji's been quite a bit off of Adam's pace this week actually, so he's struggled a bit. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do, and if he'll actually, I think he'll hold on to 2nd in the points. But Adam's had such a strong second half of the season.
Yeah, for sure. He had a strong season. He showed very good pace and very good consistency. So he definitely earns that place at the top of the championship, or not at the top, but in the top 3. And yeah, let's see if he can make it work this race, this final one, to see if he can close the gap to his teammate, because there is only a difference of 7 points between the two.
Sorry, Paul.
And he did it just in time. It is Seeks who claims 5th with 1.3 seconds behind Adam. Adam is still on pole, so it's Adam on pole, Gaz 2nd place, Boy Raxler, Benji in 3rd, Liam in 4th, Seeks in 5th, WRT Max in 6th, Papano 92 in 7th, Paul Scott in 8th place, sorry Scott, and it is Rob Noxious in 9th place, WRT Edu in 10th, Campo 50 in 11th, and Gunnar Gamble and Milton Mann, because of their qualifying ban, in 12th and 13th place. So I'm pretty curious how the Mercs will do at the at this track. It's a powerful car. But then again, there are some very, very, very tight corners. And most of us know that the AMG is not the best car around tight corners.
Sorry, were you talking to me? I've just got back, so.
I was talking about how I'm curious to see how the AMG will perform at this track. Because the long straight is definitely where it's getting an advantage, but on the other hand, the tight turns, that's not really the AMG's forte. So yeah, I'm curious if Ben is able to catch up and end somewhere around 5th place like he usually does in races, even with his qualifying ban.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. It's a long race and a lot of mistakes will happen. But if it's anything like the old Cutter and Project Cars 1, then if you downshift too quick or you just do the slightest thing wrong in the braking zone, it will spin you around.
Yes.
And obviously with a tight turn 1 like this, it will get very congested at the start, and I reckon 1 or 2 might get bumped out of the way.
That could very well be, yeah. And meanwhile, we are waiting for the lights to go green. It's still about a minute and a half to go. Ready, drivers are able to ready up, get their get their setup right, get their pit strategies right, and then we are go for a 2-hour endurance. Here we are.
I feel like we've gone for the wrong strategy already, but here we go.
And we are go, and it is. Guys in front, we see a lot of guys going all over the place, but
yeah, the midfield's very congested already, yes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Will someone hop over the curb?
And it looks like it's going pretty well through there. And oh, that is Edu in the back is spinning out, as well as that was Gunnar Gamble. They touched, Edu started spinning and Gunnar Gamble spun as well. Meanwhile in the front, Adam kept his lead, and it looks like the top 4 is still the same. WRT Max is now in 5th.
Yeah, a lot of bumping, side panels bumping at the start between me and Max, but nothing untoward as he just gets it out of shape on the exit there. So let's see if I can get a better run down the straight. He's running right to the cones.
Almost going into the wall there.
The slipstream is Paul's going to be bombing down this straight. He'll probably make a move or at least have a look. Yeah, I think he's patient enough actually.
Yeah.
But he is
and he is looking, but he isn't close enough. So you can see
the early stages of an endurance race is where we see who's done their homework on the heavy fuel.
Yes, exactly. And what is probably most important here is that the endurance race is not won in the first lap.
Yeah, so let's hope the guys that have had a bad start stick with it and see what they can rustle up. I think I'm a prime example of doing that in the past, of just sticking with it and actually picking up a handful of points.
Exactly. It's just this is not only just an endurance, it is a survival race. If you just make it to the end, you are almost bound to score some points. There are always some drivers who retire or disconnect. There are 13 drivers and the first 10 get points, so if you stay out there you have a pretty big chance to score some points, and this is a pretty tactical race. Your pit strategy is very important here. If you can stretch it to a two-stop or a three, it depends on how you manage your tires, how you set up your stints and fuel. So yeah, it's very tactical, and you don't need to be the fastest to win an endurance.
No, for sure. That's probably what will happen at the front, actually, I reckon. Well, obviously you need to be quick, but consistency is more important than anything in an endurance race.
Yes. And I think we will have to monitor the... Oh, and there goes Edu again, goes wide, but we have to take a look at this chicane because, well, I've seen quite a lot of cutting there, especially turn 6.
Oh yeah, it's quite easy to cut that. And people know they'll get away with it, so...
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about any hotspots tonight. So, well, turn 6 actually should be a hotspot.
Oops. Sorry to interrupt, Frank. Ben's coming through past Paul now in turn 1.
Yes, so there he is. Started last and is already in 7th place in the AMG. So the car is working pretty well for him.
And Max gone round at turn 3, 4? I don't know. It's turn 4. So I'm into 5th now. Ben's up to 6th, Paul 7th.
He rejoins in 10th. So that's all his hard work going up in smoke for now.
Yeah, he just ran a little bit wide. And the grass and gravel was so slippery on this track, and he must have literally just clipped it, and then it sent him round. But it'll be interesting to see if he can come back from it. Dare say there'll be a few mistakes ahead of him. Just needs to stick to it, take what he can. But the top 4 are getting away and actually split apart for once.
Yeah, there's quite a gap between the top 4 and the rest, and it is Seeks now crossing the line, followed by a couple of drivers. You can see Ben in the back, but he's still too far away to make a move. And meanwhile, Benji and Liam, so that's Boy Raxer and Liam, are still battling for 3rd. And here you can see that Benji is, it looks like he is cutting that 6th corner a lot. So we'll just have to keep an eye out for that.
Some people are running right over the inside of it.
Yeah, and I saw him, that was 4 wheels off the track. And not even a bit. No, that was half a car length between the apex and where Benji cut it. So, and of course I understand that he's under a lot of pressure by Liam, but he needs to get through the track in a clean way. This will definitely result in a steward's inquiry, and that could cost him his second place in the championship then, and not even a second place, but maybe even a third. But then Liam needs to get to second place or even win the race.
Right, we're getting into the territory now where I said the tyres are going to start to go off for me at least. I don't know about the others. So we have to see what happens.
Yep, and meanwhile Ben has caught up with Seeks. So Milton Man now already in 6th place after only a couple of laps all the way from the back.
Well, it's nothing we're not used to from Ben. Generally pretty good on the first lap, making a few places and taking advantage of mistakes from others.
Yes.
Unlike last season where he seemed to be the one who was in all the incidents at the start.
Yeah, Ben had a pretty good season, and his biggest disadvantage was having to start all the way from the back every single race. I think that if he didn't have that qualifying ban all season, he could have been, or probably would have been, competing for a podium.
Yeah, for sure. I think he would have been probably above Liam in the points even, actually, because he's had pretty good pace once he found a car. It took him, 3 races to find a car that he liked. But again, something we're used to from Ben is changing cars regular.
Yes.
But yeah, he stuck with a Lambo. Yeah, it seemed to suit him quite well.
Yeah, and
he was using our old friend Gareth Mesham, his works company Demon Tweaks livery. So yeah, it was nice of Gareth to actually notice it as well, and gain a bit of camaraderie from back in the day.
Yes. Yeah. And Ben is close, and you can see him looking every now and then. And we can expect an attack from him, well, probably somewhere around here.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get a good as exit as I expected him to, especially as I got my wheels spinning up, but his car is probably quicker than mine down the straight, so...
Yes, probably, but it's not enough. And in the back we can see Paul Scott has now a gap to Milton Man of about 2 seconds. Lap times are about the same, so 7 laps in, and it looks like his tires are doing pretty okay.
Oh, Ben's gone for the move down the inside. And he's made it.
Yes, Ben is through. Just, of course, when I switched to the front of the field. So, sorry that we didn't see that. I would hit the replay button if there was one. So, we'll just have to do with the information that Seeks gave us.
Yeah, I mean, just got a better run out of the out of turn 5, and then obviously through the chicane, and then yeah, just went down the inside. No point in defending too hard, really. It's a long race, and as much as I want to beat Ben, I'd rather lose to him and be 6th than get caught by everyone else and be 8th.
Exactly. turn 6 as well, quite a bit. Let's look at the rest of it. Here's Ben. That's a nice one. That's a bit of cutting, but not too bad. And here we are with
putting away, so.
Gonna gamble. Did it nicely. It's funny. It's mostly the Audis that are cutting turn 6.
Oh, I thought they were renowned for not doing curbs very well.
Yeah, but that's because they're not hitting the curbs because they're on the other side of them.
Oh, right.
That's how much I saw.
It was like that much.
No, I saw a couple of cuts that were really bad. I mean, like I said, there was almost half a car length between the curb and the point where Benji cut. It's somewhere in lap 5 or 6, I guess. And here we can see if Adam does the same. Yeah, pretty much. Yes. Benji is just cutting it every single lap there. That must have been very frustrating to Liam, who is still just within half a second behind Benji. But no, Liam, he will keep pushing. And we've seen before in last season's endurance at Daytona that Benji was doing a very good job all race long, and then in the end he started to lose concentration, spun, and gave away quite a position there.
Yeah, it's always the last half hour. I mean, 2 hours in reality isn't that long, but a lot of our guys haven't done that on a regular basis, or even at all for some of these newer guys. So yeah, the last half hour, they'll start. Everyone will start to get a little bit drowsy unless you're in a battle. And yeah, the mistakes will creep in. Just trying to find the odd temp here or there, and actually end up hitting the grass and spinning around or locking up and going straight on.
Yeah, it is pretty exhausting driving this intensely for 2 hours, and the pit stop doesn't give you a lot of rest either. Usually takes about a minute or a minute and a half to refuel, but it's not a lot.
45 seconds, I think, for a full pit stop, and then obviously you've got the very long pit lane. Yes.
So it's not a lot of time to get some rest, and it is very intense. If you haven't done it before, it's quite a thing, and it's pretty funny because the first few laps, it's just like a normal race, and then after about 20 to 30 minutes, you start to get in this rhythm.
I think that's Eddie in the pits. Is he retired or is he?
Yes, I don't see any pit signs.
Yes, he has. Yeah, there's only 12 left.
Yes, so Edu has given up.
His testing. Done his testing for the next season.
Yeah.
I think we're the only team left now that hasn't decided our car.
That could very well be, yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Myself, Ben and Dean have been having some, a gift war near enough on Twitter today.
Yeah, I saw the banter on Twitter, because I was also tagged in those messages.
Yeah, good entertaining rivalry, I think.
Yeah, that was pretty funny to see. But yeah, we still have to make a decision on our car. We will probably do so before the end of the weekend. And yeah, there's a lot of quite a different cars next season. We've seen a couple of them already tonight. So we have the Audis, we have the Bentley, Mercedes. Is anyone in the M6? Yep, I think.
Yeah, Pano and his teammate. Right,
the Spanish guys. They are in the M6.
No one's in the Ferrari, I don't think.
No, I don't think I've seen anyone in a Ferrari.
No one in the Lambo either.
No, but we've seen quite some new cars for this series. So that's very nice. Yeah, to get back at the rhythm thing, after about half an hour you start to get in some sort of rhythm, and the track, it is something, it's just somehow in your muscle memory. So at that point you have to be I don't know, it is some kind of muscle memory, but you have to be aware not to make any mistakes because of it. Because you
don't want to be too casual about it. You want to, well, you don't want to. I can't think of the word.
Well, you just have to stay sharp and stay focused, because well, if you start to get in that, it's some sort of cruise control, and it's not a good thing, because you will lose speed, you'll make a mistake more easily. So then it becomes more of a mental race than a physical one. And then at the end, like Sieg said, there's a good chance that fatigue kicks in and you start making mistakes. Here we are with the battle for third between Boy Raxer and Liam. Still the same. It's a bit like last week at the Bugatti circuit. These two cars are very different. The BMW has more power, more straight line speed, but it's heavier. So on the straights it can get close to the Audi, but with all these tight corners, the Audi is definitely has an advantage when it's in front. But I think when it's the other way around, the Audi is just not powerful enough to get close to make a move. So if they keep it up like this, I don't think there will be any chance for Liam to make a move on Boy Raxer.
Yeah, and the leaders are all lapping very similar times actually. They're all within about a tenth and a half of each other. Top three, and then Liam's just another tenth off of that. In fact, Ben's lapping the same as the leaders. So he might slowly be catching Liam.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. The difference is there is a gap of about 7 seconds between those two. So we will see if he will get closer.
But then, just like in qualifying, from there backwards, it's about a second in that time difference.
Yes. Yeah. So as you can see, there's if you can see on the map to your right, that the top 5 is now all pretty close, or the top 4, and then you can see the blue arrow, which is Ben, who's somewhere between the top 4 and Seeks and the guys behind that. And I think that I have to... And Adam is of course still in the lead with about 3 seconds.
Shout out to Rob, actually. Rob's in 8th still and holding on to Paul.
Yeah.
He's
And
about 3 or 4 seconds back from him, but he's
Adam,
still there, so it's a massive improvement from last week.
yes, he's starting to get the hang of that Ferrari. Meanwhile, Adam is about to lap WRT Max. So after 17 laps, there he goes. He is the first victim of the speedy top 4. And let's look at the difference. It looks like Ben lost a bit of time to Liam. He was about half a second slower last lap. And meanwhile, the top 2, Adam Morris and Gaz, both did a time below the 125. Adam, who did a 124.6, and Gaz did a 124.8. We are now at lap 17, and as we take a small look onto the speedometer of RDF1 Adam Morris, we can see that he has about 80 liters of fuel left, so he will be able to continue quite a while. Gaz has about 90 liters left, so they are going for the long runs.
I think Papano is right up the back end of Rob. I see someone behind Rob, but I can't see who it is.
Yes, it is Papano in the BMW M6, who is getting close to Rob. He is now within a second. And I think Rob made quite a mistake, because his lap time was a 127 flat compared to a 125.8 by Papano. So now he gets close, but will he be able to get any closer? And
also Paul is closing on me about half a second a lap. But he's still about a second back, and a second half back.
yeah, we can see that the yellow Lamborghini is closing in on the blue Seeks Ferrari. And Ben Milden isn't closing the gap to the top 4. He is doing about the same lap times, but well, that doesn't gain him anything so far. He is he has about 80 liters left of fuel, so the top 4 will probably all stop around the same time. And I think that Gaz will go on just a few laps, 1 or 2 laps longer than the Snake Unite racing drivers. So we could see a shift in positions there. It all depends on how their out laps and in laps are going. And we see that most of the drivers are on about 80 liters of fuel, except for Seeks, who's going for a short first stint. He is on about, he has 50 liters left. So that is still quite a lot.
Yeah, I think that will get me to near enough empty at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
Just depends how the tyres will last. I don't think they'll go to halfway, to be honest, unless I push it.
That is quite something. That, I mean, that is.
So I might have to adjust my strategy a little.
Yeah, I think so. Well, we'll have to see what happens. We are now. We had about 25% of the race. We are about half an hour. Half an hour underway, and it is Adam Morris leading after 20 laps. He's been leading from the start and has a 4-second lead over the number 2 Gazer 123, and the top 5 are actually pretty much doing the same lap times. Below that, you can see that there are also quite similar lap times, somewhere between a 26 and a 27, except for the last 2 drivers. And oh, something happened to Papano, because Papano was chasing Rob, and now he is battling with WRT Campo 50 for 11th place. And you can see his lap time was a 128.2 last lap, so he definitely made a mistake there, and that mistake cost him 1 position, but is about to lose another one. Went a bit wide. WRT Campo has... Oh, and they are trading paint at the finish line. Papano is defending the inside, but now there he goes. Campo is on the inside, made it through. So that is now WRT Campo 50 in 10th place. Papano dropped back to 11th due to that mistake he made. And in last place is our other guest driver, WRT Max. And
I'm surprised. He must have had something go wrong, because obviously he was qualified 6th. And was up to 5th at the start of the race. So maybe he's spun again. Maybe I'll just set a personal best somehow. So my tyres are back on. I don't know what's happened, but
a 25.5. Maybe you have a hidden layer of rubber on that compound, and that it drops off after about 5 laps, and then somehow magically comes back after 20 laps.
Yeah, and I've just lost all of that time because I'm now 2nd down in the first sector.
Yes.
I almost lost it.
We saw that.
Damn it. And there we go. There's the complacency kicking in already.
Yeah.
I caught it away through the race.
Yeah, so an hour and a half.
So it's the first half hour that seems to take forever, and then the middle part, which goes actually quite quick because you're thinking more about your strategy and your pit stops, and you actually might be fighting people even though it's not the position or track.
Yes, exactly.
And then it's the final half hour where you're thinking, oh, have I got enough to get to the end, or can I catch this person, or can I defend for half hour? It's always the first half hour that takes a while.
Yes, because that's probably because, well, it all settles in after about 3 laps, and everyone is mainly in their position. And well, after the first half hour, we can expect the first few pit stops, and then it's the chaos starts because you have people in positions all over the place. And so then the track becomes very mixed with the top drivers, the experienced drivers, the newer drivers, which can lead to certain situations that you're stuck behind the driver and losing to someone who is behind you, which could give him an advantage during the next pit stops.
Obviously, at that point, it'll be for track position as well. I mean, it won't be for theoretical position, but you're perfectly entitled to fight that guy if you want.
Yes, absolutely, and that's the fun part of an endurance race. I mean, if it's for position, it's all fair, and there's no reason to get out of the way of one of those drivers, even though you know that they're faster and they will probably end in front of you. It's just the rules. You are in front officially, so you have the right to fight that. So that will probably lead to some nice battles in a couple of laps. Somewhere between now and half an hour, I expect we will see some of those battles.
Yeah, I think maybe the first pit stops for 2 stoppers will be in the next 10 minutes.
I guess so, and if we look at the fuels, amounts of fuel, it is at about 70 to 75 for most drivers, except for Seeks, who is on 42. And of course there are several strategies for doing your pit stop. I'm expecting most drivers to do just a pit stop for tires the first time and also refuel the second time. You can also choose to refuel both times, but just a lesser amount of fuel than the other drivers. So that with a long pit lane like this, well, maybe it will provide some advantage over other drivers.
I think Ben might have made a mistake at some point. I don't know how far ahead he was, but I feel like he was more than 10 seconds ahead of me. His last lap time was alright, but maybe it was a lap before that.
Yeah, if I look at his lap times, he is a bit further away from Liam. He was stuck behind WRT Max. It was a back marker, but he was stuck there for just a small bit. But there is a 10-second gap between Mildenman and Liam.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. Okay.
And if we look at Six, there's about a 10-second gap to Ben Milden, and Paul Scott is 2 seconds behind him.
Max has obviously had a mistake coming out of the last corner because he's very slow down the main straight.
I think he's just giving everyone enough room to look at that. He's clearing the road, doing that very nicely.
Well, I wasn't sure where he was, to be honest. I saw him go up to the right, and I thought maybe he was going to.
He went through the end of the pit lane.
Yeah, that's what I saw. In the pit lane sort of feeds back into turn 2.
Yes.
So I was thinking, I hope he doesn't turn back in on me. But
no, it was just giving you space. However, I did see that his left window was cracked, so he must have spun somewhere. Here we are with Boy Rexer and Liam still battling for third as they just entered their 27th lap. The gap between these two is still about half a second. And, well, we can see once again if Liam will try to do an undercut and see if he will make it work here, because well, we actually don't know if he's faster than Benji, because he's been stuck behind him all race long, so we haven't, I don't think we have seen his true pace yet. So if he could break loose from Benji, maybe we will see some improvement of his lap times.
Adam's just done a purple sector 1, so he's obviously not losing too much. So maybe you're right, Frank, there is a second wind to these tyres.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was because he was behind, that is the other guest driver, WRT Campo 50, but he is still pretty far off, so that wasn't some tow he got from Campo.
Someone's in the pits.
But yeah, yes, that is WRT Max. He is the first to make an official pit stop.
It can't be, 'cause it was just behind me. So is that Campo then? Is it?
That was WRT Max.
Oh.
Now in pit lane, but he went all the way through. I don't know what happened there. Maybe just a pit entry mistake or something.
Well, you can't pit entry mistake really, unless you run very wide at the penultimate corner, because it's on the right hand side of the left hand.
Yeah. But I don't know what happened, because it didn't look like he stopped.
Unless he just didn't tell the engineers he was coming in, request pit stop. Maybe he didn't do that.
That could be, yeah. So maybe something went wrong there. Well, he did go into pit lane, but we will see if he comes back. Of course, he was already last, so he didn't lose any position there, but he did lose a lot of time. And meanwhile, yeah, I'm waiting for one of the top 4 guys to come in for a pit stop.
I mean, the where we're at now is a normal race distance for us, the 40-minute mark.
Yeah. So
but obviously that only includes the pit stop. So, and then the only people that have really been fighting the whole time are Liam and Benji, but that's not even been fighting, that's just been following each other.
yes.
So, yeah, everyone else is sort of quite comfortable, I think. Adam's actually pulled a second one, guys, in the last couple of laps. Oh.
Yeah, except that Gaz did a 24.9 last lap and does a 25 flat now. Adam did a 24.9 as well last lap. So yeah, everyone is quite in a flow there. We see very consistent lap times. No real drop-offs, except for some here and there. And you see that, for example, Rob Knox's did a 28.3 last lap, so he probably made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, Dana's got into 8th now, so don't know how long ago that was, but he was in 8th. And
yeah, that probably.
He's not quicker than he is, actually. I thought we would come through the field a bit.
Yeah, he was, of course, very fast in that Lamborghini. Maybe he still has to get used to the AMG. And his teammate Ben Milden is still in 5th place. Still doing the same lap times as the top 5. So he's not really getting any closer to them. I mean the top 4. So yeah, and everyone is now around 50 to 60 liters of fuel left, except for Seeks, who is almost empty now.
Yeah, I'm on 30.
Yeah, I know. I have the speedo on, so it's still 30 laps, 30 liters, and the rest probably started with pretty much a full tank.
Yeah, the fuel usage around this track isn't very high. I mean, for me, I'm doing about... What am I doing? Let's have a look. If my app actually
Oh
works.
wait, so it looks... when I look at the speedo of WRT Max, you can see that he is now on 113 liters of fuel, so he did do a pit stop. I just missed it. So there was...
I'm doing 2.1 litres per lap.
Oh, that's not a lot, no.
No, whereas on a normal, I say a normal track, on quite a lot of other tracks I'm doing about 3.
Right.
So yeah, fuel usage isn't bad.
Yeah, and I think we just saw Liam make a slight mistake coming out of that was probably turn 10 or 11. I mean 11 or that's probably 12 then, because the gap to Boy Raxer to Benji is now just, it was about a second, a full second, and it used to be just 3/10 to half a second. So well, now we can see if his pace is better than Benji's, if he can catch up, and it looks like he can. He might do a trick here and there with the pit stops, go for that undercut, and it might just work for him again. And here we see that the gap between Seeks and Paul Scott got about 3 seconds. So
it keeps ebbing and flowing between 2 and 4 seconds.
Okay.
So it's gonna be one to watch, I think. The strategies could well be the decider in this battle between us.
Yeah, because that
I think all
is...
season, well, I know in my head I've been determined to beat Paul this season. But yeah, it'll be nice to finish on a beating him.
And then of course it's gonna be a pure strategy oh wait, sorry about that, lost my headset. Strategy pit stop. Seeks still has about 25 liters left. Paul Scott has about 50. So Six will have to come in earlier unless Paul decides to come in now for fuel, but that means he will have only about 20 to 25 laps of fuel left for the next pit stop. So it could be a short stint. He could also try to make this stint a bit longer and go for quite a big refuel.
Well, we're only 12 minutes from halfway now, and the tyres aren't falling off too dramatically, but as I say that, I'll get a nice big
but I have some news because Liam made a big mistake. Liam is now 7 seconds down on Benji. His lap time last lap was a 1:32.4, so he must have spun off somewhere and is now somewhere between Benji and Ben. So that probably means that his tires are going off. And what will he do? Here he is at pit entry. And will he come in? No, he is staying out. Yes, he is going for another lap. And oh, and we had Jamie on the live stream on the chat, and he said, "Good luck, all. Shame I can't go race." Paul, winky face, and see you next season. So he wasn't able to make it tonight.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Did not want to do that.
Keep focused. Keep focused.
Put my pit limiter on down the
Oh, that's not very wise. No. You're on the wrong side of the pit wall.
I didn't mean to. I was selecting a strategy, and I pressed X, which is my pit limiter button. Mind you, I'm only 3 tanks down in the first sector, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay. Let's see. Well, Liam is still out there. It looks like... Yeah, no, still 7 seconds behind Benji. And Ben Milden is 3 seconds behind him. But they're all on still about the same lap times. And Gaz did a 24.7 in lap 35 and is about 6 seconds. There's about 6 to 7 second gap to RDF1 Adam Morris.
Yeah, this is definitely a one-stop for most people. I think, yeah, I think I know what people have done now. Actually, I think I've got this wrong. Yeah, people have fueled to get to about 3/4 of the way through the race, and they're only going to put a little bit of fuel in when they come in. Whereas I was sort of expecting to do.
Yeah, so
to start with, I was expecting it to be a 2-stop race and 2 short splashes, but as it was, it's going to be 1 long splash for everyone's 1 short one. So I might be chasing Paul at the end of this, and this is where it becomes interesting, because although I seem to be the only one on a different fuel strategy to everyone else, you do get people trying things like that in an endurance race. But yeah, me and Paul had many a battle, so
Yeah, it's
yeah, one to add to the catalogue. I'm 4 seconds ahead of him, 3.5 seconds ahead of him at the moment. And it's been like that for most of the race, if I'm honest.
yeah, so we'll have to see how the strategies work out. So Siegs has about 7 laps of fuel left, probably 6 or 7. If we look at Paul, it's probably about close to 20 laps. And if his tires hold out, I didn't expect to see that, I must say. I thought there would be some pit stops around, well, after about 40-45 minutes, but it seems like the tires are holding out pretty well on all cars.
Yeah, the tires just seem to come back, to be honest. They come back to everyone. To start with, after about, as I said, after about 5 laps, it felt like it was going away, and then it came back again after another 10-15 minutes.
Yep, and now Papano is in the pits, so he's the second one to make an official pit stop.
One of our regulars to do an early stop.
And even Paul Scott, who is in the Lamborghini, which had a lot of, well, I would say problems with the tires during the practice sessions, is still out on his first set of tires. So
Paul was the other end of the scale and has been known to go very long on his tires. It's just about how you use them, really. And obviously Paul's quite a smooth driver and good with his preservation.
yeah, and he still holds out on those tires, and still quite some fuel left. And Liam is also in the pits, so he is one of the top guys that is doing his pit stop. He still had about 40 liters left. So what is he going to do? He has about an hour to go, so an hour and 5 minutes. So he is almost halfway through the race. And Siegs is also coming into the pits. And I think that, yes, Liam is going for a full tank. Is now on 114 liters of fuel. And that might just get him to the end of the race. So that's a 1 stop for him.
So I think it was a quick splash and dash for myself as well.
I'll get back in the car in time.
Yeah.
Yes, and there he is.
Yeah, so we're being lapped. That's how long the pit stops are.
Yep.
It's about about 2 minutes, I think. Yeah, Liam's on a 2:27 for that last lap. Again,
Yeah,
I forgot to take
so
my
that's
foot off.
a whole
I don't know why I put
minute
it-
extra on a lap.
Oh no.
You just did a splash and dash?
Yeah, I've just noticed I've only got 40 litres.
Yes.
I did not want that. I wanted a lot more than that. So that's me out. Let's see how it goes.
Ah, that's a shame. Well, you can do then about 20 laps, which is About half an hour?
Yeah. Because I wanted about 80 litres.
So you will have to make another pit stop.
Yeah, don't know why it's changed.
Yeah, the game does that sometimes. Still don't know if that's a bug or if that's if they did that on purpose.
I mean, I was fiddling with my fuel, but I didn't ever accept it. So maybe it's probably just me. But now I'm definitely going to be playing with my fuel for what I'm going to do in about 20 laps time. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, that's too bad.
He couldn't help himself, could he?
Yeah, I just forgot about the hashtag. Okay, so currently leading the race still RDF1 Adam Morris. Been leading for 40 laps and he has a gap to Gaz of about 8 seconds, and Gaz is in the pits. So we will have to watch Gaz, and Rob also came in from 7th position now, and you will see that they both will drop back quite a bit as the pit stop will last for about a minute, so they will lose a lot of time to the rest. That moves Ben Milden up to 3rd place for now, but he will have to come in within 15 laps, and the AMG probably uses a bit more fuel, so he's probably coming in within 13 laps for refueling. And Gaz is going for 109 liters of fuel.
You won't need that much, will it?
109 is about enough for 50 laps, I guess.
We haven't even done 50 laps yet. We've done a lap for it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a bit too much. Rob is back on full tank, 119. And Snake Night Racing is in the pits, both cars. So that is Ben Millen now in 1st place. Still has to come in, of course, so he will drop back when he enters the pits. And we can see that Adam Morris leaves the pits with 106 liters of fuel, and Benji will be leaving with 109 liters of fuel. So they are all going for safe.
This is where, as we said earlier, this is where you start to see the faster drivers catching the slower drivers who haven't pitted yet.
Yeah. And then there's of course the difference that the faster drivers now have better tires but are again on almost full tank. And we have Rob back in the pits for a 2nd time. So he did refuel, but there must have been something wrong with tires. Yes, he's coming in a 2nd time. So that will get him further down the grid.
And I'm the fastest man on track. Yes, something to hold on to.
S6 did a 124.9. Adam is now on his out lap and he came back on track in 3rd place. And well, the distance between him and Gaz is a bit closer now. It was about 6 seconds and now it is about 5. So Gaz did win a second, but it wasn't enough for a full overtake in the pits. And Liam is about 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds gap to Benji. So his pit stop didn't gain him any time, but that's also because of his spin a couple of laps before he came in. Here is Campo coming into the pits.
Yeah, it was a very late decision. He was basically past the pit lane entry and then either just couldn't find it and then found it, or last minute the decision to go in. I mean, I did have a problem as well. I'd not really practiced pit entry, and yeah, and I knew it was around there somewhere, and I sort of lost my bearings a bit until I found it. But yeah, I found it eventually.
Yeah, I really had to look for it as well. And here we saw WRT Max spun in well, at the pit entry actually. He's now back on track. He has quite the gap to Rob. Rob has a 24-second lead over him. And here is the other AMG, driven by Gunnar Gamble, in the pits now after 45 laps. While his teammate is still out. And there are 55 minutes on the clock. And let's see where Ben will drop back to. Well, it is about a minute. So he will come out very close to Liam, probably. But somewhere where he was before the pit stops started, and also Paul Scott came into the pits. So he will drop back again.
Interesting.
So that will give you a minute. So it's hammer time now, see?
I'm actually closing on Ben, but obviously I've pitted and I'm on a lot less fuel than he is, even with that stop. But I need to make about a minute, well, there, around there, if I want to get back ahead of Paul.
Yeah.
And even the leader, we're only about 30 seconds, 40 seconds back when we pitted. So I don't think it's likely unless Paul bins it somewhere. But yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Exactly.
Alternative strategy, never, well, I say never killed anyone, it probably did, but there's no harm in trying. Although it's not what I wanted, but through my own stupidity it happened.
Okay, so Ben is still out with 18 liters of fuel left. Yeah. And
Adam is just doing fastest lap.
Yes, Adam's doing a 24.6 right now.
Oh, I know what Ben's doing. He's staying out till he runs out of fuel. So a bit fresh set of tyres on, minimal fuel, and then have the lightness and the new tyres to close in on Liam and potentially Benja.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's still, the gap to Liam is 1 minute and 3 seconds. So if the pit
Liam
stop...
will be closing that gap.
So if he can pull away a bit further, then he will come out in front of Liam, if his tires hold out.
And 25 seconds of play, so I've got to double that.
Yeah. 24 seconds. And Paul has
It's spun. Please give me the good news.
no, I thought he was being chased, but that was Rob, who is a lap behind because of having to come in the pits twice. Actually has a gap of 35 seconds to Papano. There is some traffic, so use that to your advantage.
Now we've had a bit of excitement over. Near enough everyone's pitted apart from Ben. And it's time we looked back on the season. I thought it was quite nice that we had a short season. Oh, Dean's, well, he's either spun or just gone off somewhere and waited.
Yes,
and
he retires the car.
Oh, that's interesting. It was at the exit, well, the entry to turn 3. Maybe just lost it on the exit of turn 2. Don't know where he was positioned, but obviously he's had enough.
Yep. Well, he retired the car, so that leaves 11 drivers on track with our 2 guest drivers. Here's Campo in the pits again. So something went wrong there too. That moves WRT Max into the points. He just overtook his teammate and is now in 10th place.
Sorry to interrupt, Ben is in the pits.
Yes, Ben has come in. Well, Liam has gained quite a lot.
Liam must be around turn 2 or 3.
And yes, he is at turn 4, 5 now. And 6, so let's see where he'll get. Ben is still refueling.
If he tries to overtake me, I will not be happy. Sorry, I've got Campo trying to overtake me.
Liam is now turn 10. Ben is still in the pits. Liam going through 11, through 12, tight left, and Ben is coming out, but is it enough? I think so.
Yeah, it's a long pit.
It is. It is, but where is he? No, it's not enough. Liam is getting past right now.
How far
And
behind is he
Ben
now?
is still in pit lane.
Oh, I see him. Yep, that was near enough a whole lap. I was about this far back from him when he came in.
And now it's only 3 seconds. And Liam has a gap of 12 seconds. So Ben's pit stop really didn't go well compared to Liam's, because there's quite a gap. No, it's back to 10 seconds. But he didn't gain any time there. The only thing is that Liam has Ben is on 90 liters right now, and Liam is on 85. So there's not a real difference there, except for that Ben's tires are just a bit fresher than Liam's. So all drivers have made their pit stops now, and well, it looks like the order is back like it was. It's RDF1 Adam Morrison first, Gazzer 1-3 in second.
Still the same gap behind as he was earlier, about 5 seconds.
Yeah, about 5 seconds. Then it is a 14-second gap to Benji. So Boy Raxer 14 is in third. Then we have Liam 5 seconds behind Benji in fourth. In fifth is Ben Milden, has a 10-second gap to Liam. 6 seconds behind Milden Man is in 6th place. Then we have Paul Scott. There's a 20-second gap to Seeks.
Yeah, it's coming down, which is annoying, but I did make quite a big mistake on the last lap. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be. But my only hope now is that he makes a big mistake.
Yeah, his lap times are pretty consistent, so if you both keep it up like that, should be all right. Papano is in 8th. Rob in 9th, had to stop twice. Then we have WRT Max in 10th. And last place is for WRT Campo 50, who also had to make 2 pit stops, which cost him a position, and he lost that to his teammate WRT Max. And there is now 45 minutes on the clock. And well, you brought it up just a couple of minutes ago, but yeah, let's do a small season review.
As I said earlier, it was quite nice to have a short season after our marathon season long before.
Yeah, season 6 was by far the longest season we ever had.
Yeah.
A bit too long. We lost a couple of drivers due to that, and this season was a short one, but it was a good one to see. Saw a lot of drivers getting quite some points, and it's even though that Gaz already won the championship, it was really close in that top 5.
Top 4, yeah.
Yeah, top 4, yeah.
Yeah, me, as usual, the Spam Fritters Racing, Liam and Gaz, and the Snatch Unite, Benji and Adam. At the start of the season, a lot of people tipped Benji to win this, I think more through not wanting Gaz to win it than actually expecting him to win it. But he put up a really good fight, and as I said, it only went down to the last race. It only ended the penultimate round before Gaz won it. So it's really good to see. Adam had a really strong second half of the season, as he's proven at the moment.
Yeah, especially the last few races. If you look at the team results, you can see that Spam Fritters was doing quite well in the first 2 races, scored almost maximum points there, and then at Algarve and Bathurst they scored a lot less, and Snakes Unite scored maximum points at Algarve, so got back up there, but you can see it just switched on and off between those teams. You can see that Spam Fritters came back halfway through the season, scored a lot of points there, and lost a couple of points in the second 2 races. And it's still close because it's only 17 points between the 2 teams, and the way it looks now, it's going to be a very tight battle, because
I think Spam Fritters have done enough again. I think they needed to be lower than 3rd and 4th. But with Snakes United winning a double podium, it will close it up a little bit, but only by a handful of points. I'd have thought maybe about 12 points behind at the end.
yeah, just
It's
not
the closest anyone's been for a few seasons, that's for sure.
Yeah, just might not be enough to win that 5th title for instead of the Spam Fritters Racers. And well, if we look at the driver championship, as we said, it was pretty dominant by Gaz. If you can see, he has won 1, 2, 3 races in total, and you can see that Benji, who is now in 2nd place in the championship, scored a lot of points, a lot of 2nd places, won Brands Hatch.
Yeah, he went really well there. Him and it was him and Gaz, I think, or it was him and Adam. So I'm getting my days mixed up because it was him and Adam the day after in the Janitor Championship. So I think it must have been him and Gaz in that one, in our championship. But they were 2 from now all the way. It's just a hard track to overtake.
Yeah, it is. And if we can see that, well, if we look at that, Gaz, I said 3, Gaz has won 5 times, got 4 second places and 3 third places, was on pole 5 times. And if we look at Benji's records, it's 1 win, 1 pole, 3 second places, 7 third places. So yeah, that's the difference in points there. And if we can see that Adam Morris took more wins. His teammate 3 wins, 4 second places and 3 third places. But because he did not finish a couple of races, he ended up in 3rd in the championship for now. But with him possibly winning the race and Benji coming in 3rd, that might change the whole thing. Because like I said earlier, there's only a 7-point difference between the 2 drivers.
Sorry, I've gone quiet, Frank. I need to pit very soon.
Yes, you have only 4 liters left, so needs to come in at the end of this lap. So we will leave him be and let him focus on his pit strategy as we look at Benji, who is now still in 3rd place. The gap to Liam is about 6 seconds, so not a lot of difference there. And Gaz is 16 seconds away. So he is in a nowhere land. It is just over half an hour to go, and now things will become a bit heavy for the drivers.
Yeah, everyone's settling in now, into the end. They know what they got to do now. Who they're racing. At least I found the pit lane this time.
Yep. We can see entering the pits here, flying over the curbs.
It's going to be so painful watching Paul drive past me.
Yep. And it's of course only a few seconds, and the pit stop will take about a minute.
Well, I'm not changing tyres, I'm just in for fuel. My tyres haven't gone off at all. I was still lapping about the same as what I was at the start, so I've just gone for fuel. So it will be shorter, but it won't be enough to keep Paul behind.
Here he is already.
Yeah.
With
Just
Seeks still.
Flip down the times. Oh, that's a shame. Would have been interesting to see how it... Oh, they are changing tyres. What are they doing? Oh no, this is going to be an absolute nightmare.
And Papano is on his way to the final turn.
What have they done to my car? Oh, they've jacked the pressures up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Where's Papano?
Going over start. Yep.
Where's Rob?
Rob is on the back straight.
Okay, so
we have quite a gap to him.
Hopefully the tyres aren't too crap. But the pressures have gone right up. Yeah. So let's try and salvage the 7th. Oh, I'm so pissed off. What a waste of 2 hours.
Yeah, that's still a thing. These pit stops are pretty hard to do. You have to get everything exactly right.
Well, I've not had an issue with it all season. Now the longest race of the season, it's all gone to shit. But I'm only 4 seconds behind Papano, so it's a realistic target at least.
Well, you
How
should
far
be
behind Papano to Paul is about 30 seconds, right?
well, get out some good laps, because Papano is also doing a 25.9. So you should be
saying that. I know Ben was about, what was it, about 10 seconds ahead of me when I pitted, and I'm just behind Ben now. And Paul was about 25 seconds back, so probably about 30 seconds behind me on track. So that's about 45 seconds of position. So it's not going to happen.
Well, you never know.
No, we don't. We'll see if I can catch Rapano. That's the realistic aim.
I mean, it's 6 seconds, and well, it all depends on your lap times now.
Yeah, you never know. I should have been running these pressures all along, you might find. Not driving like that one. Are we the only ones racing? How are Benji and Liam doing? Are they
It's
close together?
still a bit like it was. There's still a 5-second gap between the two
Oh, so
drivers.
it's down a bit.
It did a bit, but it's not. It's still 5 seconds. Their lap times are quite the same. Benji is doing a 25.3, so he is actually losing a bit of time to Gaz, and Liam is still 7 seconds away. And Ben has a gap of 8 seconds, doing a 25.2, so practically the same times as Liam, but still not able to get any closer.
So going back to the season review, who do you think's been the best driver this season?
Well, the best driver, if we look at that pure on points, it's Gaz, of course.
Yeah.
If you look at the driver that has been making the most out of every race and improving the most. Yeah, I don't know about improvement. We had a lot of new drivers this season. I think even though he's currently in third place, Adam has shown very good consistency, and that shows in his wins and also his second places.
Yeah, Adam's always been quite understated. They're always there and thereabouts.
Yeah, and he's shown great pace this season, and well, it's like I said earlier, it's just because he did not finish in 2 races that cost him a lot of points. Otherwise, he might have been battling for that first position.
Yeah. That's why Gaz is so good. He'll pick up points everywhere. No matter how low down he is, he will still finish race and pick up points.
Yep.
So realistically, you need to win as much as him to stand half a chance of beating him. I mean, as obvious as that probably sounds, he doesn't drop many points compared to everyone else.
Yeah, he always makes most of all his races, and of course it also helps that he has finished every single race. And if you look at the stats, he was one of the few that did. There were only 2 drivers in the hall in all of the season that finished every single race, and those were Gaz and Benji. And everyone else had at least one race where they did not finish or did not even start.
Yeah.
And yeah, if we take a look at a lot of the new guys, well, they did pretty well. They didn't show up every single race except for Papano, since Bathurst. That was his first race. Very heavy one to start a league in.
Yeah.
He did not finish those races, but he managed to score every race, just a couple of points at least. So
Yeah.
very well
The
done.
races he has done,
And
I think he's
even
improved the most.
even got a pole position in his rookie season. So definitely credits to Papano.
Yeah, I think he got a couple of front row starts in the sprint races actually.
Yeah, he did.
I know he was alongside me at Nürburgring in the front row. I think he was in Brno as well.
Could be, yeah. But yeah, he's shown great pace, and it just had a bit of bad luck in some races, but well, he showed pretty good consistency throughout the season, and it's good to have him back for next season.
Yeah, and in the same car, so
Yeah.
build on what he's learned in his first half of the season.
Yes, exactly. And well, I must say that of all the drivers, well, Gunnar Gamble, of course, made his return to the TNGTC, and he proved that he still has the pace.
I mean, his first race was at Algarve, and he was instantly getting his elbows in and elbows out, and showing everyone that he was back. At the point at the end of the field as well. He's obviously had a few pole positions, and he's been on to win a few races before losing it and then winning the sprint races. So it's just tale of what could have been for Dean.
Yeah, it's just he showed great pace. It's just the consistency that's not really there yet, but it's getting better. So we will see him back next season in the AMG, and let's see what that will bring for him, together with his teammate Ben Milden.
Yeah, very reliable teammate.
Yeah, very experienced as well. Has a lot of track knowledge, has a lot of car and setup knowledge. And here we have Campo 50 back in the pits for the third time. So, don't know what's wrong there, but he keeps coming in. Is it a tire thing? Probably something with the pressures, but you can't see that.
It's a shame that is it WRK? Is it or something like that?
WRT Max.
WRT, that's it. Yeah, WRT Max. It's a shame that he couldn't have raced with us all race actually, because I'm trying to lap him, but I just can't get close enough. And obviously he did qualify 6th and was in 5th at the start, but had some issues along the way. So it would have been nice to have had a race with him, because I just can't catch him at the moment. He's not getting away, but he's not coming any closer. But at the same time, I'm not making any inroads into Papano.
No, times are all around high 25s, low 26s, except for the top 5 who are in the low 25s or high 24s. So everyone is doing pretty okay, sitting at pretty decent and consistent times. On the other hand, that's not for the not too good for the excitement in the race, because, well, actually there's no one very close to one another, and now it really has become just a survival race. Who will be able
to see so many people go this long as well. I mean, we're normally only at about 7 or 8 by now.
Yeah, most endurance races end with only about 7, 8 drivers. I remember that when we did the endurance race at Silverstone, and it was raining like hell. It was actually more like a powerboat race than a GT3 race, and I think we finished with 6 or 7 cars there, and we started with about 12 or 13, and that wasn't a retirement because most cars actually spun out and hit the wall.
Yeah, it's the same with the Le Mans one as well.
Which one? I don't remember that one.
You've erased it from your memory, have you? The one where you
yes.
were doing really well in the
I blocked it out of my memory because yeah, I was doing so well, and yeah, I underestimated one corner, spun out, and couldn't make it back to the pits. Blew up my engine just before I entered the pits. So yeah, that was such a shame. I love that track. Done a couple of 24-hour races there on different games. Doing it again next weekend. Not this weekend, but the weekend after. So that will be my 4th time doing the 24-hour race, actually.
I've heard rumours that we might be doing one, like a sort of endurance league, or just a couple of races. Like getting a few of us together.
Yeah, there has been some talk about doing a couple of different tracks, the real endurance tracks. So that's of course Le Mans. We have probably the 24 hours of Nordschleife coming, Bathurst. So not the easiest tracks, but that might be fun. But yeah, there have been some talks about doing a series of endurance races. Maybe not full 24-hour, but maybe a 6-hour or 12-hour race.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd be quite interested in doing that. It mix up a bit. Actually racing with people rather than against people.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, obviously we'll be racing some people, but not as many. Yeah, I think that would be quite interesting. Or at least for the drivers.
For the drivers it will be especially interesting, yeah. As a viewer, maybe not so.
Because there'll only be about 6 cars on track. Yeah, but with Gaz and Liam falling out this season, at the end of this season, after this race, what do you reckon might happen next season?
It's going to be a whole different league then. With those two out, it's going to be a very close battle between, well, at least Benji, Adam, Ben, and who knows what else is going to bring us. I mean, if Dean is getting some more consistency, he might be battling for a win or even a championship. And it's going to be very close. We have a couple of newcomers. I will be back, but I won't be at the top. I will be somewhere at the back with probably a few of the new guys. So I think there's going to be a whole battle in front, and there's going to be quite a battle in the back for position. So I think it's going to be very interesting next year.
Yeah, I think there'll be battles all the way down the field. But there might be a bit of a bigger gap to the front, middle and back to what we might want or hope. But as long as everyone's sort of enjoying it and battling with people, that's all you want really, is a happy league.
Yeah, and of course we are starting with a full grid next season. So I think that's going to provide us with quite some battles for at least the first races. And hope to keep everyone happy and racing.
Yeah, let's hope so.
So
I think Benji and Adam will probably Benji, Adam and Ben will run away with it, and as you said, if Dean can get some consistency, then he'll definitely be fighting with them.
Yeah, and of course,
I feel like Dean will be the one who's going to take points away from people, but not actually mount a challenge.
No, we shouldn't forget Jamie, because he's also will be racing next season.
Yeah, and in the Mercedes. with Paul.
Yes. And well, Paul has been scoring some points this season, so he will be definitely there at, I think, somewhere in the middle of the pack, fighting for position with probably yourself. Papano might be good for some battle. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting next season. Also, not too long of a season, a bit longer than this one.
Yeah. And I think there'll only be one championship, or previous championship winner with Gaz gone, and that'll be Ben. So it opens it up even more for someone new to win it.
Yeah.
But I get the impression that Ben's really fired up for next season now.
Yeah, he wants to win again, of course. He has been the season 2 champion.
Yeah.
And we had Andrew Holmes winning the first season.
Yeah.
And he will be back.
Only lost in the last race on that first season.
Yeah, so that was very close. And also Andrew will be back next season as a reserve driver. So we will probably see him a couple of races making a part-time comeback.
Yeah, he did a couple this season, and no, he did a couple last season.
Yeah, last season.
Put the cat amongst the pigeons. He got a winning in Cotter, Circuit of the Americas, beating Jamie in the sprint race. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a nice mix of old versus new. And we are down to 15 minutes. So only 15 minutes to the checkered flag, and then this.
I'm gonna run out of fuel. I think. We'll see how it goes.
Well, you have about 15 laps of fuel.
Yeah, but if I'm doing 2 litres a lap and that's 15 minutes, that's 30 litres, and I'm on 28.
No, but it's 15 minutes, not 15 laps. So a lap
point.
is a minute and a half.
Yeah, okay, good point.
So,
I might be alright.
So, according to my calculations, you will be able to make it to the finish line. And let's see how the rest is doing. It's still Adam Morris in the lead, with still a 5-second lead over Gaz. And well, there is now quite the gap between him and Benji.
Yeah, as I said, Benji's been off of Adam's pace for once. Yeah, it's telling he's 23 seconds behind him.
Yep. Then we have Liam in 4th place, 8 seconds behind Benji, but 9 seconds in front of Ben Milden, who has had quite a bad lap, last lap, a 1:27.6. So he must have made a mistake somewhere, but nothing serious. Still has an 8-second gap to Liam in front. But he has nothing to fear from Paul. Paul Scott is 48 seconds behind him, so he can make quite a few mistakes before Paul can catch up.
Where I should have been.
And then we have Papano in 7th place, who has in his place a 28-second gap to Paul, and 5 seconds behind that is Seeks.
Well, I think you find it's free.
And yeah, he had a quite unfortunate choice in pit stops. And how are the tire pressures now?
Hold on. I'll tell you when I get round the corner. I feel alright, to be honest. It's not done too bad. It's a bit slidey, but yeah, not as bad as I expected it to be. Oh, that's lights. Yeah, not stable.
Yeah, so well, your lap times are pretty consistent. So the only thing you can hope now is that Papano will make a small mistake at the end.
He's not unknown to make a mistake, but then neither am I, as I proved in the pits.
Yeah, but he has still 5 seconds on you, and well, 12 minutes to go. There's not a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, I still can't catch WRT maximum, although he did just sublimely cut corner 6.
Yeah, and then we have.
Sorry, keep going through the order.
And then we have Rob Noxious 9000 in the red Ferrari, and well, he has quite a gap to Seeks, and a 14-second lead to WRT Max, who is in 10th, and then in 11th and last place is WRT Campo 50, and yeah, well, he has a really big gap to his teammate, 1 minute and 34 seconds, but he is still racing after an hour and 50 minutes, and there's 11 minutes on the clock. And Adam Morris is slowly losing ground to Gaz. It's only 4 seconds now, but the question is, will Gaz be able to get there? Adam did a 25.2 and Gaz did a 24.5 last lap. That's almost a second faster. So we will have to watch that and see if he can close the gap even more.
I think my tyres have found second wind now, Frank. I'm back to the low 25s.
Oh, 25.1. Yes, that's quite a big difference between the this time and the 26.3 you just did.
That was including a mistake. Oh shit! Oh, and he's finally let me through.
Yes.
To be fair, I wasn't catching him. It was only that last lap I caught him. But he sat in front of me, about 2 seconds ahead of me for the whole stint that I've done this on, really. So it would have been nice to actually have a fight with him. But hopefully he signs up and maybe we can actually have a race.
Yeah, it would be nice to see him more often in the league. And of course it is a full league, but he can sign up as a reserve driver.
Without doubt you'll get a race at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Gaz is still closing the gap. It's close to 3.5 seconds now.
think it'll be enough. He might get to about two or 3 seconds, but I don't see him getting any closer than that. Adams controlled this race from the get-go.
Yeah, pretty much. There's still about a 4-second gap, and he definitely replied to Gaz's fast lap, because Adam did a 24.3 last lap and Gaz did a 24.9. So the time he made up, he lost again in the last lap. Also because he is stuck behind one of the WRT Audis, and it looks like he is not really letting him past. And it is Campo, and he is definitely holding up Gaz, so he won't be too happy about that. There he goes, lets him by, but he definitely lost some time there. It's now back to a 5-second gap to Adam, who is now entering lap 80 with 6 minutes to go.
So that'll be 83 laps.
So that's four laps, I think.
3 or 4, yeah. Depends when he crosses the line. Yeah, probably about 4 actually.
Yeah, I guess so. Because it's just over 6 minutes to go, and lap times are just under a minute and a half.
Well, he can't be on lap 80. I'm on lap 77. Yeah, lap 77, I mean.
It says lap 80 on my...
Oh crap, I'm 3 laps down.
Now, of course, that's because you are now on the other side.
Yeah,
it's 2 minutes, so that's almost a lap and a half. There you are in 78 now. Whoa, and that is a big spin. WRT Max just spun it coming out of the last turn, losing his rear wing.
Yeah.
And he is heavily damaged. That car is wrecked.
Well, his teammate might actually get the point.
Yeah.
And this is why we keep getting to the end in hope that someone does win it.
There is
we never hope that someone wins it, but we always stay to the end and hope that we can get ahead of the person.
And there is a gap of a minute and a half between those two. And he will have to come in for repairs.
So if it's drivable, you might well stay out for the last 5 minutes.
His lap times have dropped. He's so slow now. So either way, his teammate will catch him. And Adam still has his 5-second lead. 4 minutes to go. So that's about 3 more laps. And there we are with the heavily damaged Audi. And he stays out. But there he is already.
Hanging on for that crucial last point. Every point matters.
And just WRT Campo just unlapped himself.
Where from?
From his teammate.
Oh.
And he is now only 1 minute and 10 seconds behind his teammate, with only 3 minutes left. So that's
two laps.
Well, no, I think depends on where Adam is now. He is just over half of the lap, so that's probably going to be 2 more laps, yeah. So, will Campo catch up enough? I don't think so, actually, because he still has a gap of over a minute with 2 laps to go.
Oh shit. And suddenly I was in the wall.
Keep it on track.
Luckily it was down the front and straight. I was too busy looking at my app. Not that it should matter, I'm 4 seconds back. Pano's been lapping near enough the same time as me. The last couple of laps, in fact, he's got a little bit.
Yeah, the only one slower in the top 8 is Paul Scott. He did a 26.3.
So what's everyone's feel like now, Frank? Is anyone in a spot above her with the last 2 minutes?
Nope. It's probably gonna stay this way. Let's see. I don't see anything weird. A lot of pretty big gaps. Campo got the gap down to 54 seconds, but with 1 lap to go, that's probably not enough.
This is the best battle I think we've had all race.
It's one of
a 1.5 minute gap, but it's the best battle.
Yeah, you can see that WRT Max doesn't have any grip in the corners because he's going so slow through corners. Of course, no downforce at all on the back. Well, Gaz is pushing like mad because there is still it's now back to a 3.8 second gap to Adam, but Adam keeps his lap times really up and did a 24.9 compared to a 24.7 by Gaz. So unless something weird happens in the next half lap, it will be the victory for Adam because we have 3 seconds to go and we are officially in the final lap, and Adam is coming. Here it is, turn 13. And the final corner. There he is. Adam led the race from start to finish. And it is race complete. He didn't even realize it, I think, because he only started flashing his lights now. So Gaz comes in second. And
maybe
here is...
it was +1 lap at the end.
Yeah, maybe. But he finished. And it is a win for Adam in the feature race. Benji already flashing his lights coming through the final turn. Getting the 3rd step on the podium.
I think that's Adam's 4th win of the season.
Let me check that. Yes, his 4th win and 3rd pole. Liam in 4th, Ben in 5th. And the celebratory donuts are here by the Snakes Unite drivers. So that completes the race.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Campo's just got the fastest lap of the race.
Oh, really?
I don't know how.
Okay, so
my app must be deceiving me.
Liam 4th, Ben Millen in 5th, Paul Scott 6th, Papano 7th, Seeks in 8th, Rob Noxious 9th, our guest driver WRT Max, even though he had that extensive damage to his rear wing, or either no rear wing left at all, finished 10th. Campo 50 came in 11th. And then we have Gunnar Gamble.
3,000ths of a second.
Wow. And Gunnar Gamble and WRT Edu did not finish. So that concludes our final race of season 7. Can't give you any points yet. We'll have to get that to Gaz, who does the points table. If you are interested, keep an eye on our forums at racedepartment.com, or go to our Facebook page or Twitter page, where we will share the results. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this season. We will be back in a few weeks for season 8 with a couple different tracks, new drivers, old drivers, and a full grid. So thank you very much, Seeks, for your onboard commentary.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.
And I'll see you on track as my teammate next season.
Yep.
I won't be returning as a commentator next season, but Liam, who finished 4th today, he will take up my role as commentator. Okay, so thank you, and hope to see you in a couple of weeks. Bye.